Um,
There you go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's town hall. As you can imagine, after doing that last week, I was a little bit tired. But the reason I wanted to show that tonight, that was in front of LA City Hall last Wednesday, and certainly a lot has happened since. But we have a lot of videos that we show before this, right? We show videos that people do, they're creative, talking that are informational. One of the things I really want everybody to feel and why I love, and there were about 1,200 people there and crowds circling the block, etc. What is really empowering to me and should be empowering to all of you is literally the power of the people and getting something done. And I'm going to stress this with the power of the pen. We are the biggest movement probably in the history of the United States. In fact, guaranteed, probably the biggest volunteer movement in the history of the United States. And in spite of all the rhetoric and noise that you hear back and forth, this, my friends, is getting done legally. And more importantly, I don't know that everybody really gets it, even in the press, even in the parties, even in the churches and the aisles that are out there. It's getting done by the people. Now, get your arms around, and we're going to announce the new count in a minute. A lot's happened in a week here. But get your arms around the fact that all of you out there, each one of you, and I'm going to stress again what I said on stage, and I say all the time, everybody makes a difference. Every time you go out and get a signature, and again, no longer have a nice day, we call Gavin2020.com. Every time you spread the word a little bit, every time you get a business to carry the petition like Angela, who we're going to have on tonight, you're not only defending people's rights, you're giving them an action item, and we're empowering the people of California. God bless the USA, but at the end of the day, it's the rest of the country is depending on us, the people, to take back the state of California. And I can't stress that enough. There's been a lot going on. It's kind of amazing. I was talking to Robin a little bit earlier today, and it's everything seems like, wow, that was 3 weeks ago. No, that was about 5 days ago. And I gave that little talk, if you will, a week ago Wednesday in the front of the LA City Hall. So I want to start off with some announcements before we're our guest tonight. As Randy has taught me to say, Cordy's on assignment tonight, so he's not going to be with us. That just sounds really cool. He's got other engagements. Tonight, we're going to have Angela Marston, who you know very well from the Pineapple Grill, with a fantastic video she made about the people, for the people, which went viral. I'm very pleased to have you tonight. Warren is a little incognito tonight because I want you to grasp a little bit as I go on, understanding the vastness of the operation that we have, all right? And this gets lost a lot of time. So we have processed or taken in 1 million. The figure's coming soon. I don't have time to look at the feed too much tonight. I'm the only talking head along with a couple others. But grasp, we've taken in 1 million signatures. Once 1 million signatures are taken in, and every week it's more and more are taken in, they've got to be processed. We send them through verification. And then they have to be delivered to 58 counties. And we get calls from other states and calls from other people. Angela, you might want to go on mute. There's a little bit of noise behind you there. There's a vast process to get them delivered, okay?
hey,
And Warren,
sorry.
in
You
his
mute.
generosity of his heart and the wonderfulness of what he's doing, literally drives around the state a couple times a month to deliver these petitions. And tonight, from being a fantastic road warrior, and I make fun of Lauren a lot because it's fun. We're really good friends. We're leaders of the recall along with our committee. But at the end of the day, that man, certainly, if there were frequent driver miles, Lauren would be a platinum member. And God bless that all of us have a different role in doing this, but God bless him for starting it and getting going. Again, I want to go over a couple things that have been in the news this week. The most exciting thing to me, and this is going to shock most of you, is that CNN is no longer in airports. And when I start flying again, nothing makes me feel much better than not having to see Wolf Blitzer on a 40-inch screen before I get on a flight. There is an unsubstantiated rumor that it's going to be replaced by the Cartoon Network. but I want to stress that's unsubstantiated. And there's been a lot of rumors running around this week, right? You've seen a lot of the news, and we know we've made it when the other party, or what perceive themselves to be as the other side, start saying things that most of us know aren't true. I think what a lot of people have trouble grasping out there is that this is legit, legal, peaceful way to make a change in California. And if anybody watching this tonight anywhere wants to make this partisan, wants to make this division amongst people, I say woe be to them. It's interesting, there's a lot of talk about unity in the country and bringing things together. And I say this quite often, it strikes me as the person bringing California together, united in a front to make a movement against the oppression which is taking place in our restaurants, our churches, our schools, every aspect of our life, is Gavin Newsom. And so this isn't divided along any kind of lines at all. This is about change and taking back California. And I stress that over and over again, because you're going to hear a lot. You've heard a lot the last week. You've heard a lot the last few days. We've all, the three of us, Orrin, Randy, and I, have taken calls, reporters, news. Everybody wants to know what's going on. What's your agenda? Our agenda is really simple. We want to recall Gavin Newsom. Well, what's going to happen after that? Well, we might just leave it up to the people. And that seems to upset a lot of folks when we do. Because really the mission that we have is to empower the people of California. And we're volunteers. I'm a volunteer. Robin's a volunteer. Orrin's a volunteer. Dan, running the mics every day, is a volunteer. And by the way, before I forget, Tim, we've entitled him Special Ops. Tim Holiday is a very special volunteer who is actually helping put this feed out everywhere now, and I want to make sure to give him a shout out. I also want to tell you folks out there something very important: to stay in touch with the town hall and stay in touch with us in the recall. Social media, oh my God. Social media, Twitter is shutting people down. Facebook is shutting down. There's people roaming their houses going like that because they don't have a place to rant and rave on, all right? Our Facebook groups are still up. I've had my Twitter following sliced by a third. So I can't stress how important that it is that you go, each of you individually, to our website and register to be on our email list. Your email list isn't sold. We're not moving anywhere. It's simply the way that we move information out. Before I start every town hall every week, I probably get, I don't know, 15, 20, what is this like? How do I find a town hall? What do I do? Well, if you were signed up on our email list, you would get it automatically. So if you want to prevent big entities, and when I say big entities, I mean political parties, I mean big tech, I mean big things, from people being able to talk, the best way to do it is communicate with each other and let us communicate with you. It's easy on our website to go register to become part of our communication list. And this is the way that we get money with small donations. This is the way to push out, get information. This is the way tonight that we told you that Angela's on the show. All right. I probably left some things out because a lot's happened in the last week, and we'll get to them in a few minutes. Way to push out, get information. This is the way to. In the meantime, what I'd like to do is bring Angela on here. Angela has quite a story. I want to introduce her for a second. And I think what's very powerful about Angela's story, and I'm going to, before I even give you the chance to talk here, to me it was a stark contrast of what we're doing as the people. And that's what struck me about your video, Angela. And everybody, I think, is familiar with Angela with the pineapple grill and the studio beside it. But what really struck me is the stark contrast. Orrin talks about it like a fight between good and evil. To me, it's a fight, again, between people and big entities.
Yeah.
Next to a very large studio, union run, while your business is being suppressed. Would like you, of course, to tell your story, tell everybody out there who you are who's maybe not familiar with it, and the stage is all yours until I start to talk to you.
Thank you, Mike. First of all, I want to say my name is Angela Marsden, and you might know me from a video that went viral. I was the frustrated pub owner who found a movie studio set up right next to my patio when they closed my patio in the same parking lot. And I'll go into that. But before I do anything, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's out there. As a small business owner, I'm so grateful. You guys are the unsung heroes. It's amazing what you've accomplished and what you're doing. And you have more support than you know. There's a lot of businesses out there suffering, and you guys are actually empowering them to have a feeling that they can make a change and hold him accountable for the decisions he's made that are not based on science. But for me, you know, as a small business owner, when this all went down, of course, with St. Patty's Day, ironic. So what a celebration it would be if we got him out before the St. Patty's Day deadline. I still have the drawings on my chalkboards in my pub of the girls, you know, dressed up for St. Patty's Day. I left it there as a reminder of when we shut down. But, you know, in the beginning, obviously everybody's, you know, wanting to do the right thing. As small business owners, we're kind of the heart of the community. We love our staff. We love our community. We want to do it safely. And so all of us complied and did the very, very best we could. And then the rules just kept changing. You know, we're investing money. First we went to go, which if you know anything about brick and mortar businesses, we have in restaurants, very, very thin margin, and we have fixed costs like rent, insurance, things like that. So going to go for us in the beginning reduces us to 10%. We're basically bringing in 10%. We're losing 90% of our income. And in the beginning, you know, it's supposed to be for a month, right? And we want to do that. We want to keep the people safe. So I actually did runs. We tried to raise funds for the hospitals. We did runs to the hospitals with food, and even with that, we were losing money. And then, of course, after that, we were allowed to go back inside. But in order to go back inside, we had to do plexiglass and this and that. And so we did. You know, I spent probably $60,000 to $80,000 on everything over the last year that was needed to keep people safe. Because again, I have older people that come in, I have younger people that come in. It was very important that we did it right for my staff. COVID's real. I don't want anybody to get it, and I don't want to be responsible for that. So as a business owner, that was important to me. But, you know, we got hit with riots. We had to board up. I remember the week that we were allowed to go in. Gavin has no notice. Like it's the night before they put out a 10-page thing we got to do so we can open. And then we're in the midst of curfews. And finally we do get open, and the business comes right back. People miss each other. They miss that contact. And, you know, then arbitrarily within 3 weeks, they shut us down and say we have to go outdoor. Well, for a lot of bars out there, guys, if you want to find somebody that you might be able to get on board, and just remember when you're dealing with business owners, they can be a little leery. I mean, a lot of us are suffering from PTSD. We're going through a lot of trauma. We're afraid of upsetting right or left, or having, you know, we love everybody. So when you're going out talking to business owners, again, it's not about politics, it's about people. You know, understand where they're coming from, and they'll be on board, because the truth is the truth, and we're all suffering so bad. But anyway, so we did the outdoor patio, which I didn't even think I was going to be able to accomplish that. I was lucky enough. I had a parking lot, and the landlord allowed me to do it. Great. We get it up, which that was very hard because most of the businesses were not reopening. I remember going to get patio furniture through Facebook that I'm picking over other businesses that are never going to open again. And it was heartbreaking for me, because, you know, in the small business community, we're all like family. So when you see one person going down, it hurts like it's your right arm, you know? Anyway, so with all of that, we ended up opening the outdoors, and we took a loss in August because there was a heat wave. We started to pick up steam in September, which was, we were all happy. You know, I previously had 14, 15 employees. When we cut down to go, I go to 4 or 5 people. I mean, if you can imagine how many people have no work. And I'm a smaller pub. I don't have, you know, I have about 15 employees. A lot of restaurants employ 25, 30, and they've had to cut down to 5 employees or just the owner. So it's devastating to our community. It's demoralizing. I can't explain the feeling, but you just keep trying and you keep doing the dance. And then in October, we finally saw a profit. We were excited. I thought I might be able to get ahead. We were hiring, you know, new staff members, and with a 2-day notice right before Thanksgiving, we're told right before the holidays, we've got to shut down and go to go. It was, you know, I say in the video, a slap in the face, that was a punch in the gut. You know, how do you tell people right before the holidays that they don't have a job? You know, and then you're, you know, I'm looking at cases and I'm trying to predict when we're going to open, because there's the mismanagement, you know, that's a key to me, is the mismanagement from this governor is so outrageous. He's not following the science. There's no, you know, hey, let's get a team together of you guys, you know your business, let's figure this out so we can stay open safely through this. Nothing, no communication. You know, I just did a small business town hall. I thought 10 would come, like 50 came, and not one, not even me, not even Big Tony Robbins. They've not been contacted by anybody in the city. And, you know, the governor, the mayor, nobody has reached out to us to ask us our thoughts and, you know, what we could do to open safely. So that was really, really hard. You know, we had all this food bought for Thanksgiving. We ended up going to go and having to tell my staff that. And I'm looking at, well, you know, maybe I can make it till February because I'm losing money every month. And of course, I didn't tell my staff that. I'm trying to make it okay. I'm trying to tell them, don't worry, I'll figure it out. You know, there'll be a job to come back to. We'll get through this. You know, I remember Lindsay, she's my right-hand girl here. She helps me run the pub, just crying and saying, I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen. Most of my staff, it's right before the holidays and their unemployment is running out or gone, you know, and some of the staff I had were brand new. They'd been through 2 other jobs that had gotten shut down from this and were so happy to even have a job. And then I had to tell them within weeks they were going to be furloughed again. So it was really, really hard. And I remember the week before the video, we shut down the night before Thanksgiving, and I was so depressed and thinking about going back home to Indiana, where I'm from. I've been here 28 years. And it was Black Friday, and I got up. I said, you know, maybe if I shopped, you know, got a little bit of gifts going back home or just something to make myself feel good. I didn't think the mall would be open, but it was open. And I remember just walking through the mall, like literally in a daze, thinking, nobody's wearing a face shield. Nobody's wearing hand gloves. I'm indoors, which is, you know, not as safe as my outdoor patio. I'm trying on clothes randomly, like anybody could have tried the clothes I tried on. There's no 6 feet distancing going on. It's Black Friday and the malls are open. And something just hit me. I just, you know, I was so upset. I got home. I called my mom. I said, Mom, I got to start telling the truth. You know, I'm watching my fellow business owners die off, and I'm just trying to keep my head down to survive. And I feel so guilty for that now. I feel so guilty I wasn't joining you guys sooner, or I wasn't trying to do something sooner. But literally, as business owners, we're worried about losing our license. We're worried about upsetting our neighborhood, upsetting our customers. We don't know. We're working so hard just to survive that taking time to get off and look into anything else, it's like you're on a hamster wheel, you know, and you're just waiting for that little piece of crumb to keep going. And just something inside me, I said, Mom, I can't. Everybody's bailing out of California. And I've been here 28 years and I can't do it. I can't bail out of California and I can't not tell the truth. Like, people have to know what's going on. And so I had never been political. And I thought, well, you know, the only people that get hurt are people that do protests. So I didn't know about you guys. I said, you know what, I've got to do a protest. So the next day I went to Open Up LA in front of Barbara's house in Echo Park, and did my first protest to figure it out, because I was going to organize my own protest that would be directly for restaurants at Sheila Kuehl's house. And, you know, I started going on Facebook. It was just so surreal, I have to tell you. I went to bed the night of Black Friday. I went on Facebook and just finally said how I felt. And there was, you know, a bartender that came on, and she's like, can't pay her rent, can't feed her kids. She's like, we got to do something. So, you know, I felt angry. You know, I didn't want to put anger out. So I woke up on that Saturday morning, you know, planning to go to this protest to see how protest works. And I woke up to, it was unbelievable. I woke up to 6 o'clock in the morning, KTLA saying someone had taken, it was Small Business Saturday, somebody had taken a BB gun, shot the windows out of the small businesses from Tarzana to Studio City. I was devastated. I was like, this is not a coincidence. Like, they're just trying to kill us. Like, I was like, forget it. You know, I went to the protest. I'm glad I did. I figured out, met some great people. I learned about you guys, learned about so many things. And I said, okay, now I got to plan my protest. Now, I had already told my staff, because we do a bi-weekly payroll, that the following Friday to come in, and I would have their paychecks, and I put together bags of groceries for them to take home. And I came in that morning, literally in the parking lot, to a movie set up, basically identical to my tent, less than 50 feet, in the same parking lot, with a food truck, a catering truck, set up for them to eat, right next to mine. And I you know, I always try to put on a good face for my staff and for everybody. And I came in, I had friends that were showing up to help me do posters, because we had scheduled my protest I had set up at Sheila Kuehl's house. And one of my employees, Ben, was here, and everybody's like, did you see that? And I'm like, yeah. And I went behind the bar, and then I just started crying. Like, I just lost it. I just lost it. You know, I'm giving last paychecks to my staff. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to open. And they put a huge 200-person tent identical to mine in the same parking lot within less than 50 feet. And my friend Liz, who's a school psychologist, I said, Liz, I am not good with cameras, and I'm too upset, but I got to tell people what's going on so they understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I said, can you follow me and just video at me? And I was so hurt, and I was so upset. It just kind of came out. You know, I believe it. I believe in God. I believe Buddha, God, life, whatever you want to say. There was a higher something working, because I'm not great at social media. You know, we had followers, but nothing like what happened. You know, it just happened. And it was awful. It was devastating. And like I said in the video, it was like a big smack and, you know, a slap in my face. You know, you're going to give a permit to them to be in my same parking lot to do exactly what I'm doing that you're telling me is so dangerous it can't be done. You know, while my staff is hurting, I'm losing everything. And I just had to tell people. And so that's how the video came about. And then it was a whirlwind from there. And, you know, I was so blessed. I mean, people from all over the world were contacting me and saying, please keep fighting. Please keep fighting. You know, it's happening where we're at. Like, please keep speaking out, you know. And I felt like if God is going to give me this platform, I just got to keep talking, and truth will come through, and just keep talking the truth, you know, truth, 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 truth. And, you know, I just vowed to do is I'd talk to anybody if they'd talk to me. I think we did about 85 hours that week and a week and a half with 2 bartenders and myself, and they're helping me teaching me how to do Zoom. And, you know, we called it the war room, you know. We went until we dropped almost, because it truly is a humanitarian crisis what's about to hit us here. And, you know, talking to the other small businesses from the small business thing and hearing their stories and getting it on tape and knowing how bad the homeless is and knowing the waitresses and the bartenders that are 5 months behind on rent and the evictions are lined up. And, you know, most people are bailing because they have to, because the stay-at-home orders are a joke. It's a farce. It's like, choose between having shelter and food or staying home to be a good person for somebody. You know, it's not practical. It's not reasonable. It's not logical. You know, as a business owner, I would be fired. My business would go under if I managed a business the way he's managed the state. You know, we get fired, right? So the idea of the recall for me and what I'm trying to get my other fellow businesses on board, and I believe that you guys have a strong army in them if you can leave the politics out and hear their stories and empower them to say, yeah, we have a say. And just hearing what you're saying about historic, it is historic. This is California saying, we the people are united. And if you, I don't care if you're Republican, you're Democrat, if you are not going to work for us, we will fire you. And that's what this means to me. It gives me a voice, and it only happened from the hard work from you guys. You know, it takes somebody to start it. You know, the fact that you're at 1 million, people are finally listening, and small businesses are, you know, luckily my video did go viral, so I think it gave them more confidence to be able to speak out. But it's a revolution, and I think we, you know, one of the things I try to emphasize is like, who are we going to vote on next? We need to make sure no matter what party they are for the people only. They're not for the corporations. I mean, you know, through that, Mark Garagos is representing me, and I'm doing all this because I want to get LA open. You know, I have been blessed. I could just say, well, I'm going to go back to Indiana, or thank you. I could maybe make it till April with the help that I've gotten. But it's not about me, it's about us. And I don't feel like I should be driven out of California. And I feel like the middle class and the lower class has been squashed, you know, and the businesses, the small businesses, which are the heart of the community, they're literally killing us off. And somebody's got to stand up for this great state. You know, somebody's got to say, no, I'm going to stand and I'm going to fight and I'm going to do what's right. And I'm going to make a difference. And this recall gives us that ability to not, you know, end up in a violent situation, or it's our constitutional right. It's a pin. It feels great. It feels so good. And when I hear you guys talking, I get so excited. You know, he has to be taken out of office. This person has no feeling or care. You know, that same day on Small Business Saturday, when he had shut us all down, and the BB gun had been taken to windows, and people were like, well, it must have been a random thing, you know, no thought. He tweets out, go and support your small businesses today. It's Small Business Saturday. I mean, can you imagine what we're feeling when that happens? It is unimaginable that someone like that would be entrusted with the lives and the care of the citizens of the state, you know. And, you know, I was asleep at the wheel. I'm one of those people that didn't really vote a lot. Like, I fully understand now where I failed, and I'm not going to stop. You know, the lawsuit I have is specifically suing Gavin as the governor. My attorney is willing to take it all the way to the Supreme Court. I've had death threats. I've had people say they're never going to come into my pub again because they want to make it political. And I simply just reply and say, if you don't want to come back in, I understand, that's your right. But we have a right to survive. And we have a right to feed our kids and a right to not lose everything we worked for, you know, and do it safely. So, you know, right now we're going to file a restraining order within the next week. With everything that's been going on, I think they're waiting for the right time to do it. And then I'm looking forward to holding a press conference downtown where I call him out very specifically and say either reverse course or resign. You are not our governor. You do not speak for us. And, you know, I look at it as David and Goliath. And, you know, some 10 Horn Flats opened illegally. They're risking so much, you guys. A liquor license is issued through the state, and they're hard to get, and they're threatening to pull those permanently, meaning you would never have a business in the state of California. And in order to fight that, you need oodles of money for an attorney. So, but I'm glad 10 Horn Flats are doing what they're doing, because if we all come at the giant from different ways. You guys have got the recall. I'm a recall center now. Ironically, when I did the small business thing, I had to put up peaceful protest. And believe it or not, my landlord says I'm not allowed to do those things according to my lease. So I don't have the recall sign out yet because I'm working things out with him. But as a small business owner, you know, people don't understand. We get it from the public health department. We get it from the landlord. We get it from the state. We get it from the, so that's why when you talk to small business owners, they're a little reluctant. But if you talk with them with truth and understanding and care, they will come out threefold for you guys, and you guys will reach that number and beyond, you know, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And before we go, we gotta keep moving here, and I appreciate the fight you're doing. I want to remind everybody here, this isn't like David and Goliath, right? So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you for keeping distributing petitions, and remind everybody up and down here, we are the gathering place for a sole mission of recalling Gavin Newsom. I bring that up as a focal point because we're uniting Angela's battle with everybody else. Angela, I'm going to flip on here, and if you don't mind, and thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Your emotion and your heartfeltness in the battle that you're fighting, we all really do appreciate. We've got a lot to whip through here, if you will, in our last 17 minutes of the show, including I've got one really interesting announcement, Angela, that I'd like you to stick around for. I think.
Yeah.
And Randy, I'm going to flip to you now for a second. Randy, as you know, is our senior advisor, because we had to call somebody senior, even though Randy's not the oldest. So Randy, why don't you tell us a little about, and before I let you go, Randy, I saw a couple of questions on the feed tonight. Randy had sent me an article that came out in the California Globe just a little bit about Gavin Newsom and the Chinese masks. And I'm not prepared to comment on it tonight, but that California Globe article does kind of go as something shocking, that there was something behind the scenes going on with that mask order, and shocking it's becoming unraveled. So good question that somebody brought up in the feed. Randy, you've got about 4 minutes here now to tell us your story.
Well, I just want to give everybody a quick update. And in case you guys don't know who I am, I'm Randy Economy, and I'm the senior advisor to this amazing movement. And I'm also the kind of the point person and the official spokesperson for the recall. Something alarming happened yesterday. The California Democratic Party chairman held a press conference and denounced each and every one of us here on this call, and everybody who has signed the petition. And Rusty Hicks, who's the chairman of the California Democratic Party, even went so far as to say that we are all conducting what is now not a recall campaign, but a coup. And to me, that sends shocking, haunting shivers up and down my spine. I think that is emblematic of what it is that we're up against right now. And when the California Democratic Party holds a half-hour to 45-minute official press conference with the chairman of the party, as well as with Nelson Esparza, who's a member of the Fresno City Council, Robert Garcia, who is the mayor of Long Beach, Todd Gloria, who is the mayor of San Diego. Let's see, who else was on that call? And Nathan Fletcher, who's a member of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors. And they also had one of their attorneys on the phone on this press conference as well. Well, what happened was they went on and they compared us to being people who are white supremacists. They compared us to be people like members of Proud Boys. They labeled us every derogatory term you could actually name. They put their line in the sand on where their priorities were and how they were going to run this campaign from this day forward. And our official response right now is being formulated through our amazing team of legal advisors, and we will be issuing a formal statement, I believe, tomorrow. But again, it's, I don't want anybody to be discouraged by what has transpired in the last 24 hours, even though it is a very alarming, difficult situation we have to deal with. We're very strong, tough people, just like Angela. I mean, she had everything in the world thrown at her, and she's a survivor, and she is somebody that we can all be proud of, who has come to our movement and the people's movement to be able to make sure that we take the time and we take the effort to really let our opinions and let our facts known to members of the media. I happened to be with Adam Carolla yesterday, and with Mark Garagos actually on the Adam Carolla. Nice. So it was kind of fun, Angela, and my phone started blowing up, and it was like I had like 45 minutes left in my phone call about 15 minutes left in my interview, and I turned to Adam and I said, "What the hell's going on?" He goes, "What the hell's going on with your phone?" I said, "I don't know, it's blowing up." And then I had phone calls from NBC and CBS and this outlet and that outlet, and they all wanted to know, what was your official response to the fact that you guys are now overseeing an official coup? And I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. And they said, well, the chairman of the California Democratic Party just was on with some of the biggest elected officials in the state, and they've labeled you guys basically as a fringe group, and everything in the world they can throw at anything they could throw at us, they throw it at us yesterday. It was emblematic of who they are. And I guess what our official response is, we're going to go ahead and issue that official response, because again, we take what we do here very seriously. And each and every one of you who are on this call tonight are the heart and soul of what it is that we're doing. And nobody should ever be discouraged, and nobody should ever be threatened. And everybody should be proud of who we are as a team. I know Mike's going to go ahead and give an official announcement in a little bit, or Robin's going to give an official announcement in a little bit in regards to where we're at signature-wise. And guys, we're getting right there. I mean, we're getting right there. Our message is so powerful that now the California Democratic Party and the governor's media office have to coordinate together to be able to put together an official, I guess you could say, game plan to try to go ahead and discredit us and to demean us in the most powerful of terms. And the thing that we have greatest going on with anything here is each and every one of you. And it's the people that are making this recall possible. And it's people like Angela, who are, direct victims of Gavin Newsom. And we're not gonna stand for it, but we're gonna go ahead and continue to shine, and we're gonna continue to play hard, play by the rules. And we're gonna go out and we're gonna get more and more signatures. This is gonna be a motivating factor. I had Scott Pressler reach out to us, who is an amazing driving force in Republican and conservative politics, reach out to me tonight, and he wants to have a phone call tomorrow morning to see what he can do to bring, maybe 500 volunteers to help gather signatures for us. And these are the type of people that, he was part of the resistance movement that was, he's been so active with for the last 4 years. And again, it's just not about Republican Party politics, or it's not about Democratic Party politics. It's about the people of California. And I keep telling members of the media that again, we don't care what background you come from, what sexual orientation you have, who you identify as, your race, anything. This is about Californians. And I'm a native Californian. I'm proud to be a native Californian. And I'm a small business owner. And, and I've had my issues in the past, but dang it, this is about us. It's about the people. And we're standing up to one of the biggest political families in the history of American politics, in the Newsoms and the Pelosi's. And so don't be discouraged, people. Be energized. Be inspired. Don't take anything for granted. Continue to work hard. Continue to, if members of the media call me, immediately call me. You don't have to talk to them. You can call me or drop me a note through our team here. And we're in this together. Each and every one of us are in this together, and we're not going to go away, folks. And this is going to be probably the hottest summer ever. And like I was telling Adam Carolla yesterday, I said, can you imagine if all of us are gathered in a bowling alley in Fresno in August, in the middle of the summer, and it's 110 degrees outside, and we're all sitting there on a special election night going, gee, did we just recall the biggest governor in the history of America? And now, who's going to be the governor And that to me is the most inspirational thing any of us can go ahead and continue to work with. So keep working, guys. Keep working hard. Don't let this discourage you. Make it inspire you. And we're going to get this thing done. So thank you so much, Mike. And thank you, everybody else. I absolutely love this group, and I'm just honored to be here.
Randy, thank you very much. And Randy brings up an important point before we flip to our favorite part of the show, which is Robin and Susan. Actually, my favorite part of the show is me, but I'm not supposed to say that. But if any of you out there get contacted by the media and you're going to get all, please go on the feed. Those of you that have my text number or Orange text number, get a hold of us and we'll funnel and handle it. Right now, we are the hottest thing since the latest movie to come out. We are soon going to be the singular political issue that the world's going to be focusing on, so get a hold of us. Okay, before I get to my next big announcement here, I want to put on Robin, who's going to give the most exciting part of the show, all right, and tell us what TikTok, the actual count is, which we're going to move out every Wednesday and announce it on the show. To just keep my fingers healthy from having me type and answer the same question 14 times, here's Robin.
Thank you, Mike. Hi, everyone. You know, I got involved with this recall because at the time, over a year ago, it felt like California was dying rather than thriving. And stories like Angela's just drive that home, and it's getting worse. So thank you all. The exciting thing is my grandfather always said, and I think a lot of grandfathers said, is the higher up the ladder you go, the more you expose yourself. And we're doing that because we are just shy of 1.1 million. And because of that, that's why those press conferences happened yesterday with their big hitters. We have got them frightened, they are worried, and they wouldn't call all those people together to have that press conference or their Zoom meeting if they weren't worried. So as far as I'm concerned, it's exciting, and it's all because of all of you volunteers that have been working your tails off. Thank you. Shy of 1.1 million, and as of today, we had 2 more counties reach their 12%. So out of 58 counties in California, 24 counties have reached their 12% of their goal as far as what they had to achieve for their county. It doesn't mean you're going to stop, but they hit their 12%. So kudos to all of you. Thanks so much, and keep it up. You're doing awesome.
Thanks, Robin. And understand again the power of this, and I can't get to this enough, the power of the pen. And a couple things here. One, I want to end on something really big that's happening here. I've tried to get to all the questions tonight, but one of the things that's brought up to me is understand as it gets bigger and bigger, as everybody wants to know the count, 1.1 million. I know a lot of you have been to a football game, and probably the largest crowd I've ever been has had probably close to, I'm going to say 90,000 people in it. And I want you to get your arms around 90,000 people in a stadium. Close your eyes and envision whatever the largest crowd is you've ever been with. Most of us have never had the opportunity to be in front of a bigger crowd or even perform, in my case, in front of a larger crowd than 25,000. Put that picture in your head for a second. Now imagine 1.1 million. I want you to really think about that. Yeah, there's a couple dupes, there's back and forth, but scoreboard is at the end of the day, 1.1 million have signed this petition, and give or take, I'm not going to split hairs on numbers, about 1 million of that have come from volunteers. Get your arms around that for a second as we legally, ain't no coup, taking California back. And by the way, this is going to sound strange before I get to the next one. There's all kinds of things coming in trying to divide us in California, but I'd like to personally extend a thank you to the Democrats. Now, again, we are nonpartisan, but God bless you guys for having that news conference yesterday. Because our web traffic, right after they had the news conference, shot up like a bandit to over 20,000 people cycle in one day. And we've had 1 million come the last 90 days. And literally, I think a lot of it is actually Democrats going, what recall? Thanks for telling us about it. So thanks a lot for having that news conference. And understand as time goes on, there's going to be more like this. People trying to divide us. I'm going to go right here on record, as I do all the time, and tell you, recall Gavin, 2020.com, the group of volunteers out here driving this, endorse absolutely nobody for governor. Got it? I'm asked all the time, well, who do you think would make a better governor? I'm going to give you my personal choices. Mickey Mouse or Alfred E. Newman from Mad Magazine. Okay, those, whatever I'm asked, are my personal choices. Mickey's out of work right now, and Alfred's got me worried. He's kind of like Gavin. How can we do work, right? So scoreboard is at the end of the day. We're going to get this question all the time, leading up to the next thing I'm going to tell you. I need all of you out there to continue to do the events you're doing. I need to continue to drive the small business. We also know, whether you wanted to use the metaphor of the fourth quarter, ninth inning, night before the election, whatever metaphor you would like to use out there for getting toward the end, here's what I'm going to tell you. We're not getting the big money. We hope we do. In the meantime, Joe Collins, who is not running for governor, okay, has offered to do a 16-city recall road trip. That recall road trip is kicking off around the 31st. I announced it earlier, and it's going to be in 16 cities. Joe, out of money left over of him running for Congress, and we endorse nobody, and I'm going to hear back and forth, so this person, I don't care. We have input on the speakers. All I'm asking is you out there on this 16-tour road trip that is going to run right up to around March 3rd, major events. They're paying for the permitting, they're paying for everything, that you, the volunteers, go to these events and help us do what? Collect signatures. That's what we're all about. And I also want to stress that when you collect a signature, look, and I've had some input, well, I tried to put them under a doormat when I gave them to my regional manager. I want you to think of it this way. When I talked on stage, as you openly saw in my salvo, about $1 million, think how much a signature is worth. Let that sink in for a second. Every time someone signs it, it's worth a lot of money to the state and your personal freedom. Treat it as such. Got it? Okay? Don't leave it under someone's doormat. Make sure we have a chain of custody that ends up a lot of time with Orrin, making sure they get delivered to the right people. Don't leave, if you can't get a hold of somebody, just don't leave them somewhere. The signed petitions are valuable and important. And as this grows, you're going to find people are going to try to say, I'll take this for you. Would you give them a sackload of money and expect them to get back to you later? Probably not. Would you trust somebody with something extremely valuable? Read a bottle of water? Probably not. Don't trust them with petitions. Make sure you keep the chain of command at your businesses. Make sure that when you hand them over to people, they're authorized by the recall. And don't let other names, that person's running, that person's running. Mr. Collins has offered to run a recall road trip. He's paying for it. My job as a lead volunteer proponent is to gather signatures. Our job as a group is to take back California in the best way that we can by recalling Gavin Newsom. We have 1.1 million. Tune in next week to find out how many signatures we're getting. Remember, we are out to recall the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, legally, peacefully, and ethically, and that's our sole mission. God bless all of you out there. I look forward to seeing you next week. I'm sure I'll talk to 90% of you in between. Let's take back our state and have a nice night. And, oh, I'm not supposed to say that. Recall Gavin2020.com.